Lesson 141. Double contractions. Give me an example of a double contraction, please.
She'll have gone home before you arrive. She'd have come later if she'd known.
Deliver, mail, beforehand. At what time do they deliver the mail at your house?
They deliver the mail at about 10 o'clock in the morning at my house.
If you had to deliver a speech, would you carefully prepare notes beforehand, or would you give it off the cuff?
If I had to deliver a speech, I'd carefully prepare notes beforehand.
Critic. If you could choose between working as a restaurant critic or a theatre critic, which would you prefer?
If I could choose between working as a restaurant critic or a theatre critic, I'd prefer to work as a restaurant critic.
Expect. Rely on. Are you expecting a letter from anyone in the next few days?
No, I'm not expecting a letter from anyone in the next few days.
Do you think young children can be expected to do homework without being forced to do so either by their teachers or by their parents?
No, I don't think young children can be expected to do homework without being forced to do so either by their teachers or by their parents.
I expect by now that you understand everything I say with ease. Is that right?
Yes, that's right. I understand everything you say with ease.
Can you always be relied on to do things that you have promised to do?
Yes, I can always be relied on to do things that I've promised to do.
Fast. Fasten. What do we mean when we say that someone's fast asleep?
When we say that someone's fast asleep, we mean that they're completely asleep and would be difficult to wake up.
Do aeroplane passengers have to fasten their seatbelts before the plane takes off or lands?
Yes, aeroplane passengers have to fasten their seatbelts before the plane takes off or lands.
Porter. If you arrived at a railway station with a heavy suitcase, would you ask a porter to help you with it, or would you struggle with it yourself?
If I arrived at a railway station with a heavy suitcase, I'd ask a porter to help me with it. I wouldn't struggle with it myself.
Compound adjectives continued. A 50-minute lesson. A 4-door car. Jog. What can we say instead of, he had a holiday that lasted 2 weeks?
Instead of saying he had a holiday that lasted 2 weeks, we can say he had a 2-week holiday.
What can we say instead of, let's jog for 10 kilometers?
Instead of, let's jog for 10 kilometers, we can say, let's go for a 10-kilometer jog.
In the phrase, a 10-kilometer jog, why is the word kilometer singular and not plural?
In the phrase, a 10-kilometer jog, the word kilometer is singular and not plural because it is being used as an adjective, and adjectives in English do not have plural forms.
Give me some other examples of this type of compound adjective, please.
An 11-man team, a 2-litre bottle, a 6-bedroom house.
Overnight. Lifestyle. Do people who become rich or famous overnight often have problems managing their new lifestyle?
Yes, people who become rich or famous overnight often have problems managing their new lifestyle.
Mere. Is there any job you could think of that you would like to do, not for the money, but for the mere honour that goes with the job?
Yes, there's a job I can think of that I'd like to do, not for the money, but for the mere honour that goes with the job.
Which job?
The job of a soldier.
Nuisance. What do you think's the best thing to do with children who are making a nuisance of themselves?
I think the best thing to do with children who are making a nuisance of themselves is to send them to bed without any food.
Post. Doorpost. goal, dig, dug, dug, postage. What are these?
These are doorposts.
What do we have to do when we want to put posts in the ground to make the goals for a game of football or rugby?
When we want to put posts in the ground to make the goals for a game of football or rugby, we must dig fairly deep holes in the ground.
What are the three forms of dig?
The three forms of dig are dig, dug, dug.
What would you say was your main goal in life at the moment?
I'd say my main goal in life at the moment was to buy a house.
Do big companies often advertise new posts in national newspapers?
Yes, big companies often advertise new posts in national newspapers.
How much is the postage for a letter from your country to England?
The postage for a letter from my country to England is about £1.
Naughty, punish. When you were naughty as a child, how did your parents used to punish you?
When I was naughty as a child, my parents used to punish me by hitting me.
Fold. What am I doing?
You're folding a page of your book.
Native. What's your native language?
My native language is English.
Treasure. Is there still any lost treasure in the world?
Yes, there's still some lost treasure in the world, especially at the bottom of the sea, where ships sank in the old days.
Receipt. Prove. What problem might you have if you took a faulty product back to a shop but didn't have the receipt to prove where you bought it anymore?
If I took a faulty product back to a shop but didn't have the receipt to prove where I bought it anymore, the shop might not agree to change the product or give me a refund.
Idiom 42. Put one's foot down equals to be determined and insist on something. What does the idiom to put one's foot down mean?
The idiom to put one's foot down means to be determined and insist on something.
Give me an example, please.
If I hadn't put my foot down and got angry with them, they would have done nothing and the work would never have got finished.